I was on the first episode of ABC's Shark Tank. 4 of the sharks said no. They did not want to invest in my company or my idea. And Barbara Corcoran, thankfully, took a chance on me and invested in my product. So that was a little bit of a hit, even though I did walk away with an investor. It obviously was a little jarring to see that 4 did not want any part of it. But I think that a lot of stuff, in business, no's come in all shapes and sizes. Sometimes it's a missed opportunity. It's not so much a no, like a firm no from a buyer. It's more of, I wasn't ready at that time. I wasn't fully prepared. Maybe your fault or not your fault, and you missed something. You fought so hard behind the scenes that when you do get these little victories or what feels like your big break, it does feel like the end of the world because you've put, a million hours of work into it to get to that point. And so when you lose it, it's like, oh, I blew it. You sometimes tend to be hard on yourself and you get really down. I think what kept me going personally was my motivation to help children. Right. And you forget that in the day to day. I mean, you're so busy keeping yourself afloat and doing the work that is involved in running a company, which is not fun by any means. There's no heart in it. It's really what made me want to eventually license my product, which I've now done, because I missed so badly that interaction with kids and basically the heart of business. And when you're the CEO and you're the secretary and you're the accountant and you're everything, yep, you can't be as involved in that. And I missed that terribly. I went down a very long road over the last 2 years of trying to find the right partner to license my product to. And I got a lot of no's along the way yet again. And nobody ever sees this stuff. They only see my Shark Tank appearances and all the good news and all the big sales and big deals, but they don't see, the 10 no's I get for every, yes. And there were a lot of deals that didn't work out that took 6-8 months out of my life of negotiating and talking back and forth about Ava becoming one of their products. And then in the end, either I decided or they did that was not the right fit. Small business is like a bipolar thing where you're very happy one moment and the next minute you are at extreme lows where you feel like you've done all of this for nothing and almost having to throw in the towel. So it's been a lot of ups and a lot of really, really lows, Going back to where it all began for me, which was kids with special needs, is what pulled me out. I created the very first Ava for a little boy that I loved very much, still love very much. And he had Down syndrome, and I created it for him just to fix his problem. It wasn't like I, sat at my house and went, ooh, this is going to be a multi-million-dollar idea. I did it just because I needed to help this boy in this moment. And so I take it, every time I get to that low, I take it back to that. I go and I volunteer with them. I go and I spend time with the ones that I know and love. And I'm reminded, of their joy and the zest that they bring to life and why I wanted to help these children. As women, we tend to take what we can get. I mean, we start, a lot of the women that I've talked to have just latched onto the first deal or latched onto the first investor or whatever it was because we felt like, ooh, they like my idea or they believe in me. Men don't do that. You're not going to see that out of most men. I mean, they're going to, give you a hard time. And so it's nice, like you said, to get to that point where your value meter finally hits that point where you say, I am worth something, and no, I'm not going to work with you. Anybody can call themselves an investor. I could, I've invested my time and some money into, smaller companies or things, but I would never put it on, LinkedIn that I'm an investor right now and expect people to come to me for loads of money because that's not happening for me.
Right.
But anybody can do that. So you need to be very careful about who you go into partnerships with. I did not trust my gut on this one, and I had a bad feeling for so long about it, but I'm too compassionate and I have my heart way too much invested in my business. And I think that was part of the problem was I kept saying, okay, maybe this isn't so bad, or maybe this isn't what it seems. And if I look back now, I mean, I knew and I should have walked away, but I was blind because I wanted to see what this person was promising for Ava come true. And that was all I could see. Knowing what I know about myself, I think unless you're hardwired that way and you're more of a, not cold-hearted, but you're very, business-oriented. If you're anything like me, it's going to take going through those heartaches. You're almost going to have to face these ups and downs to get there because someone could have told me that, 3 or 4 years ago, watch out for who you're going to work with and da-da-da. And I would have made the same moves probably. I'm a dreamer. Like I'm the one, oh, what about this? And what if we did this? And big picture, and that can really hurt to be that person when you're an entrepreneur, because some of the more successful ones are the quieter, more focused on the numbers and this and that, entrepreneurs. And I wasn't that entrepreneur. I was the dreamer. So everything that came at me, it was like, let's do it,
Yeah.
till I realized not to do that in the biggest way. Don't overthink the email you send, the pitch that you deliver. Just do it. And you'd be surprised how many high-level people don't care and aren't judging what you think they're judging. Every one of my choices got me to where I'm at right now, and it's exactly where I'm supposed to be. You do not have to fit in. I don't fit into the typical business mold because I wasn't intended for business in a lot of ways. And so I used to show up at meetings and, interviews thinking that I had to sound and look and be a certain way and be, have a certain intelligence about me or whatever it was. And I learned over the years that I could just be myself, that I had learned a whole bunch, and that I was extremely intelligent when it came to launching products, and that what I'd learned was very valuable, and that I did have something to give, but I didn't have to look like what I considered to be a typical businesswoman. Now I'm starting to see that, how exhausting it is to try to be something that you're not.